Hello, welcome back to an exciting episode of Sports Talk Philadelphia. We're coming at you after an Eagles win and a Sixers win. We're going to be talking about both of them right after this intro.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
So welcome back. We're talking Eagles. We just had a fantastic game against the Cardinals. We beat them 34-7. I'm going to break it down for you real quick. So we started the game off with a touchdown reception of Trey Burton, 15 yards. We finally got him in the end zone, and then we followed it up the very next drive with another 11-yard touchdown to Zach Ertz. And then finally, Torrey Smith was able to catch a touchdown, long ball, 59 yards for a touchdown, feeling good, and that was only in the first quarter. We moved into the second quarter. Carson Palmer was able to throw a touchdown to John Brown for 13 yards, and then that was it for that. But in the third quarter, we were able to get a 36-yard field goal by the man himself, Jake Elliott, and then Carson Wentz and Nelson Agholor for a 72-yard deep ball. It was a beautiful play. And then in the last quarter, a Jake Elliott 28-yard field goal to end the game, 34-7. God, what an exciting game. Like, we were able to have so much production. There was 21 blowout rules in the first quarter. I mean, like, how are you guys feeling after that?
I think after seeing that past Eagles game against the Cardinals, 34-7, we have finally seen what the offense can truly do. Carson Wentz finally stepped up. He felt more comfortable. He had more protection. Even though Lane Johnson got hurt, it still seemed like he was more protected, and he also spent less time in the pocket, so that helped it. He was actually running a lot out there too, though. Just got to learn how to slide.
Obviously, there's always been questions: are we a legit football team? And I think we're kind of like, we're right there at the answer. I think we're pretty close to being a legit football team. I mean, of course, it's up to tonight what happens, but like you see what Carson Wentz can do. You see the weapons he has around him, actually catching the ball, actually making some type of move. So I think, we're pretty much right there at being a legit team.
Yeah, bouncing off what Dave just said, I definitely think that we are one step closer to becoming an elite team in the NFL. I believe we're number 2 in the power rankings for this week, so that definitely gives us a lot of momentum and a lot of motivation going into tonight's game. If we can pull out a win tonight, we will definitely, we could easily go into the number 1 spot depending on how the Chiefs do and whatnot, but I'm not going to get too ambitious or too cocky about it. But no, this game was definitely this was our game to lose. We met a 2-2 Cardinals team that was literally atrocious against all these other teams. They had 2 wins. They hadn't even led in any of their games except for their 2 overtime wins against San Francisco and Indianapolis, 2 of the worst teams in the league. We caught Arizona at a really good time for us and a bad time for them. They looked absolutely horrible, and the fact that we were able to handily beat them was very promising for us Eagles fans.
See, let's go into the specifics. Let's go into those Sunday stats. Carson Wentz, 21 for 30, 304 yards, 4 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. I mean, that's a fantastic game if I've ever seen it. Just 70% completion rate. He was on fire there. He was able to extend the drive. He was able to move around, dance around in the pocket. Sure, he doesn't slide when he runs most of the time, which is a little scary considering we have the most fumbled quarterback in the NFL for the past couple of years. But my God. So as we know, Carson Wentz, it's been a conversation of, franchise quarterback. And, we're going up against an actual, legitimate team in the Panthers, also 4-1. They're coming off of a hot streak. Do you think Carson Wentz can he remain consistent as he's been versus a better defense? How do you guys feel about that?
Well, I think Carson Wentz can remain consistent, but that's going to rely a lot on the receiving core that he has. We finally saw the tight end step up, especially. Trey Burton had a touchdown. Zach Ertz had a touchdown. Brent Zellick, who's been AWOL the entire season, had a couple of catches. Nelson Agholor, that touchdown out there, looking like Deshaun Jackson, falling into the end zone like that. So I think Carson Wentz can remain consistent, but he's going to need to rely and develop more chemistry with his receiving core to do so.
Yeah, I think if we see the way the receivers played last Sunday, if they do that again tonight, I mean, it's going to be a really fun game for them. I rely on Carson Wentz. I think he can get the job done. It's all about what the receivers do and what the offensive linemen do, because without the offensive line, if they can't hold it up their part, it's going to be a little rough game. But if they can keep it up, I mean, it's going to be something beautiful, honestly.
Yeah, and you look at this entire season, Agholor is kind of broken out of his shell. That was his 3rd touchdown catch of the season, and that's his career high. It's not really saying too much, but it's still really nice to see the big playability that we have. So, going into this game, both teams have some key injuries. The Panthers are going to be without their center, Matt Khalil, and we're going to be without possibly Fletcher Cox, and I'm probably not going to be with Lane Johnson this week. So that's really going to hurt not having him there, because I believe we're like 9-2 or something like that with Lane Johnson playing in our game. So having him out of the game is going to be really tough. But we're a tough, gritty team that I believe we can pull out a win this weekend.
So yeah, as you saw on the screen while Josh was talking, Nelson Agholor, breakout game, potentially breakout season. Yeah, they threw it back up. Thank you. And just, like I said, beautiful 72-yard reception. Who would have thought Nelson Agholor would have caught that ball and got that touchdown? I mean, last year, Nelson Agholor wasn't very high up on our list, and even we had concerns after we, got rid of Jordan Matthews that was Nelson Agholor going to be consistent. But I mean, man, he's been looking really good this year, and I think, especially compared to last year, do you think that this year is going to be the year where he solidifies his spot in the slot, or do you think he's going to tailor off against some of the teams with better coverage?
I am always the first person to have harsh criticism for Nelson Agholor, as we all know. But I think he's starting to look like the first-round draft pick out of USC that the Eagles wanted. I think having Jeffrey and Smith there is taking a lot of the pressure off of Agholor, and I think putting him in the slot was the right decision. He feels more comfortable there, so he's been able to make a lot better plays, and he's just feeling more comfortable. A lot of it, I think, was mental from last year, and now he's finding his groove, and so I think we can expect a lot better from him this season.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you talk about Nelson Agholor, it's going to be either really harsh or like you give him some credit. You gotta give him some credit this week. I mean, the way he scored, that celebration, you gotta talk about it. I mean, it had flashbacks to Deshaun Jackson. It got me excited. I was like, that's something I want to see every week. So I mean, obviously, like against that team too, you have to go against Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu. Those are some elite like quarterbacks right there. So if he does that against other teams, I don't see him going down. It's only up from here.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is Agholor's season to finally break out and have have at least a decent season, better than the past couple of seasons he's had. It definitely helps when you have most of your team healthy, especially on offense. Until Lane Johnson got hurt, as I mentioned before in the show, we were rolling pretty well, pretty much just putting up 20 points every week, no problem. And if the offense keeps on going, then that means Nelson Agholor is going to keep on going. That means Torrey Smith and Alshon Jeffrey and Zach Ertz, who I think has been the real dark horse this season. I believe he's almost caught a touchdown pass every week. I mean, he's been one of our most productive receivers. But the fact that we have the core four right there and Agholor making up that fourth person, that's really promising, as you mentioned, Selena, him being the #1 draft pick out of USC. So, very, very positive thoughts heading into this week.
Yeah, and talking about Zach Ertz, so, Zach Ertz, he was targeted 12 times on the field, the most out of any Eagles receiver. But it's last year, Zach Ertz didn't have the most productive season because Carson Wentz couldn't get the ball to him in most situations. Zach Ertz has the drops. But, I mean, now Zach Ertz is, 50% of the passes he caught them, but he's actually consistently getting into the end zone. So do you think, like we talked about the rebirth of Zach Ertz a couple weeks ago. Now, is this the Zach Ertz, do you think he plateaued, or do you think there's even more left in the tank that he can show us?
Well, he's still young, so I wouldn't say he plateaued. I think he is still a rising star. He hasn't found his true potential yet, and he's quickly become one of Carson Wentz's favorite targets. So I think we really need to watch out for Ertz in the upcoming games because he could potentially bloom.
Yeah, so yeah, he's. I'm sorry, but like he's Carson Wentz's guy. I mean, that's if you need someone, you just give it to him. It's kind of like that Tony Romo, Jason Witten relationship, or like Phil Rivers, Antonio Gates. Like that's the type of relationship I kind of want to see on this team with Carson Wentz and Zach Ertz.
All right, so yeah, just let's talk about third down really quickly. We were able to become a much better team on third down. Doug Peterson, his play calling has been a little fishy sometimes, but ultimately, we've turned out so many third down conversions, and it's so surprising. So just really quick, Josh, tell me what do you think? Do you think we're going to continue with this luck, or do you think it's just a symptom of playing bad teams?
I think it's definitely not a symptom of playing bad teams, considering the options that we have on third down. When we have right now, I'd say we have three receivers: Agholor, Torrey Smith, and Alshon Jeffrey that are big, deep threat ability wide receivers. And then you have Zach Ertz, who could run any route. And when we have those guys going deep, Ertz is most likely going to be wide open. And then you have a downhill runner in Blunt that can get 4 or 5 yards anytime he wants. So that's why I think that's the reason why we've been converting so much on third down.
All right, so yeah, that was a pretty fun Eagles talk. And you know what? We're going to go ahead and throw away the commercial break for you. We got an interview with Coach G talking about the Sixers. Now, Coach G, do you trust the process?
Absolutely, but now it's a total different general manager and philosophy in terms of their administration. So I don't know if they're still talking about the process, but I do think that the players they've acquired, in fact, Coach Brown and Coach Lang, who played for me, are wonderfully gracious to all the college coaches, and they invited us all to training camp, and I got to see them practice. And I think, and they'll tell you this, Joel Embiid staying healthy means the world to that team. So I think if he stays healthy, the fact is they're really talented. They're inexperienced, but they're really talented. So again, if they're a little lucky, I think that they can compete for a playoff spot. And then you take it from there. But if that core group stays healthy over time, then I think you take the first step, make the playoffs, and then you start thinking championship after you win some playoff series. And I think they're on track to do that. I think their health is obviously the key, but they really, Ben Simmons is an amazing talent, and Embiid's beyond amazing talent. I've never seen someone that big, that athletic, and that skilled. He's almost like Shaquille O'Neal as a young player, but with three-point range and ball handling skills. He's really astounding, but he's had a hard time staying healthy, and as I said, that's probably the key.
So yeah, welcome back to the desk. Now we're talking Philadelphia 76ers after that interview. Thanks, Steven Silvestro. Thanks, Coach G. So yeah, Philadelphia 76ers, we won our first game of the preseason against the Brooklyn Nets. How do you guys feel about that game? How do you think we looked?
They lost the first 3 games of the preseason. And then Joel Embiid came back. And then some type of magic happened, and then they won. And I don't think that's a coincidence. That's all I got to say.
First, I gotta say, Joel Embiid, I love you. The first quarter of that game, they were just getting demolished by the Nets. The Nets were just running over them, and then all of a sudden, Joel Embiid came in, and the whole presence of the Sixers just changed. He had one monster block, and now it's just like, all right, we can play defense now. It was just the mindset was just amazing to see.
Yeah, kind of like what Dave's feeding off of right there. Joel Embiid comes in, 11 minutes to start off in the second quarter, I believe, or something like that, and 11 points in 7 minutes, completely changes the game. Defensively, much better team with him back there. The Sixers just know how to play when Joel Embiid is out there. And then on top of that, they feed off his energy. He's out there saying, they can't guard me. Maybe some other words are thrown in there, but who really knows? And that's true. They can't. And as a result of that, the whole Sixers team plays better because of him. So it's really exciting to watch him out there.
I mean, yeah, I was surprised, he dropped 22 points in the game, and I mean, that was a pretty impressive performance, I should say, like first game back. So yeah, like his contract, like what do you guys think about the contract?
5 years, $148 million. It's a bit steep, but is it worth it? I think so.
I'd pay this man. I mean, 31 games, honestly, it's enough for me. Just give him his. I feel like if he stays healthy, like he'll prove the fact that he's the man to be.
And you know what, Dave? That's the key for him to stay healthy.
Yeah, if he keeps having these little injuries, maybe I'll get crushed. But he stays healthy, I mean, it's going to be something beautiful.
And just to play devil's advocate for just a second here, because we all know that I'm on board for this contract. But to play devil's advocate, well, yes, 31 games. It is too soon. But think of this. There's clauses in that contract that if he goes down, then we can get out of it. And also, another way to look at it, if he goes down, the Sixers aren't competing in the next 5 years for a championship because they don't have a scorer. Markelle Fultz's shot is not ready yet. Ben Simmons is not good enough shooting the ball to become a scoring leader in the NBA. He's good enough to be a facilitator right now, though. But when you add the Joel Embiid into the picture, just like you did last night, 133 points. I know it's the Brooklyn Nets, but no one can guard him, period, in this league. Not Cousins, Anthony Davis. They cannot take him out of the game. And that's what's special about this guy. If you let him walk and he does this somewhere else, then you're shooting yourselves in the foot, and every Philly fan out there is saying that's Philly's luck because that's what we're used to. But this guy is not going to – he's not going anywhere now, and that's why that contract needed to get done. Kudos, Brian Colangelo.
I mean, yeah. So I guess to continue on with the devil's advocacy, $148 million is a lot. And I know we have clauses to get out of it, but even if he doesn't go down, do you think his performance is going to continue to be dominant from, for the 5 years, or? Like, do you guys honestly see him as being one of the top tier, top class players in the NBA?
Oh, 100%. I mean, he's still so young, and of course he's faced a lot of injuries so far in his career, but think of all the potential he has, like on and off the court too, because this guy is such a leader for the Sixers that he's just going to do them a world of good from here on out.
And kind of, sorry, Dave, didn't mean to jump in there. But like Selena's saying, he's a leader for them on and off the court. He comes back and other players play better around him. Dario Saric drops 26 points in, I don't even know how many minutes, but that's the type of leader that he is. He draws so much attention away from him. Ben Simmons' stat line filled up with him out there. And you're now seeing Ben Simmons develop off the ball because you give Embiid the ball, even at the three-point line, he's dangerous. He can shoot it. So you have to cover him out there. That's the biggest player for the opposing team out there guarding him. You put Ben Simmons in the post against their 4 or even their 3 at times, it's cake for him. He's going to town. One dribble, post move, up an easy layup, maybe even N1. It's beautiful.
To follow that, I mean, when Ben Simmons is out there, when Ben Simmons and Embiid are out there, you can see the one play Embiid was literally like pushing him, like, hey, you can see the hole, just take it, like, just go. Obviously, you can see like their chemistry is like it's growing out there, and the season hasn't even started yet. Like mid-season form, it's gonna be like really crazy. You're gonna see stuff like just eye contact, like just go, and they're just gonna go ahead and go and score. And another thing is, Embiid shooting the 3, like this man pulled up from half court yesterday for fun. Like they called a timeout, he had the ball, he just said, "I'm gonna do it," and pulled up. It's like that's a dangerous man out there. Like he can be in the post, he can shoot the 3 ball. It's gonna be hard to stop.
If he stays healthy.
If he stays healthy.
But like we're saying, we're not talking about the if he stays healthy because that is, I don't want to hear the negative talk because this was the signing that needed to happen. They needed to keep him here. And that, I mean, it's unbelievable that they found that player, and moving forward, it's going to be easy with him there.
Well, I think you guys sold me on the process for sure. So yeah, the Brooklyn game specifically, as you mentioned, 133 points. Everybody was scoring buckets out there. Dario Saric, just more points than I thought he was going to get. 26 of them, 9 rebounds. Just it was an impressive performance all around. It's only preseason, of course. So you know me, I like getting excited when I see any Philadelphia team win a good game. So just in general, like, how do you think they looked ready for the season yet? It's 1-3. That game specifically, though, it's like, how do you feel about the rest of the preseason? Do you think they laid down the groundwork? Let's talk about that.
Well, I'm not so sure about who's going to start first game of the season next week yet. But you can see they have a superstar in Joel Embiid, but they also have a lot of depth on the Sixers. Like you mentioned, Dario and McConnell and Covington and Stauskas. There's a lot of depth for this team.
We didn't get to Redick yet. He dropped 18 the other night.
Yeah, so Like I was telling you guys earlier, we've been trusting the process for a long time now. And now we're finally seeing the culmination of a lot of hard work and a lot of first-round draft picks leading up to this. So I think this is their moment.
Yeah, going off that, like, Selena talking about depth, I mean, Robert Covington, I mean, that's a guy everyone forgets about. Like, all right, we took care of Embiid, we took care of Simmons, we took care of the homie, we took care of Markelle Fultz when he comes in. It's like, all right, we took care of everyone. And then we have Robert Covington coming off the bench, and he's just going to shoot a three in your face. So, I mean, the depth on this team is just, like, you have good games and bad games, but, I mean, if someone's slacking, I feel like Robert Covington is the man to just go to in that moment.
Yeah, and kind of like what they're going off of, this depth is only going to improve. I mean, we've seen how night and day this team is different with Joel Embiid out there. And with him out there, the depth becomes more dangerous because now you're talking Okafor off the bench. And Selena, I know you're not a fan of him, but I'm telling you, just trust the process because this man lost 15, 20 pounds, something like that, and he looks agile. He looks ready to go. And as you can see up there, that's the difference with Embiid on the right and without him on the left. And, I mean, that's night and day, even from three-point land. I mean, think about it. Embiid's in the post, wide open shots for J.J. Redick. And I think you're going to see improvements with Nick Stauskas from out there. Hopefully, T.J. McConnell starts to develop a jump shot. And also, you're going to see Justin Anderson getting some time out there. And obviously, Rocco shooting the three, too. What do you guys think? I mean, do you think that this team's going to turn into a three-point shooting team and almost be dangerous with Embiid in the middle? Or
I think we pretty much have everyone can shoot. I mean, I know we forgot Jared Bayless, who didn't play a lot last year, but he came back. I mean, he still looks fresh out there. Didn't miss a step. JJ Redick acts like he's playing he's acting like he's 20 right now, shooting up the three ball. So I mean, yeah, there's so many people on this team that can shoot the three, and it's kind of unbelievable because like it's kind of scary. It's scary.
It is.
It's a very scary thing, but that makes me happy because go Sixers.
Exactly.
You know?
So how long do you guys think it's going to take for Embiid's his just overall skills to really to the point where if he doesn't play or like if he doesn't make it in the game, like how long do you think he has to be playing for some other Sixers to be able to kind of like leech off of that just mentality that energy he gives off in order to step up as leaders as well?
So are you talking for a single game? I mean,
just in general, yeah.
So, I mean, he just being there. He's the biggest cheerleader for the team too. I mean, how many times we saw last year Dario had the two huge blocks. I'm blanking on whoever it was against, but it was huge. And who's the first one up off the ground from the bench? Joel Embiid saying, "Great job, dude." Probably other words too, but it's unbelievable how exciting he is, and then the fact that he cares about the whole team too. It's not the Joel Embiid show in his head. Even though that's how we all say it, this guy is team-oriented. He's been here, and I truly believe he wants to stay here and win here. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts?
I was just like, you could, like 31 games was 31. I feel like he was like 10 games away from just flipping the whole team around. Like he was like a couple more games from like really changing everyone's mindset on it.
Well,
like,
sorry, Dave, but in January, they won 10 games. Like that was right in the middle of his NBA career or NBA season right there. That was right around like the 20, 25 games mark. And they're winning 10 games. And now all of a sudden, you're looking at it and you're saying they could make the playoffs. They could push for it last year. So if you get him for that time this year, because we're going to be better this year. We have more pieces. We're deeper, as we've already talked about. It's with him just there this year for, I'd say, 30, 40 games. We're already talking playoffs.
Like you mentioned, he's like a cheerleader for the team, and he's one of the players on the team who has the most heart, I would say. Like him and McConnell are right up there cheering on their teammates, and they're just like motivating forces, I think.
So yeah, T.J. McConnell coming off 7 assists, which, like, honestly, after watching Embiid coming in, I like the way the Sixers look. And you guys know I'm not the biggest basketball fan, but heck, even I'm a little excited after looking at that. And if you get me excited about anything, Philadelphia sports is one of the big things. So I'm always happy to be excited about that. But yeah, now that we talked Eagles, we talked Sixers, so now I'm going to come at you with the Fast Five, which that's going to be the slowest part about the Fast Five. So first question, Dave, I'm coming at you first time on desk, so let's come at you with a Fast Five question. The new All-Star format, you got captains picking their own players. How do you feel about that? Do you think it's going to work out?
I mean, you got to try something new, because the NBA All-Star game has been very weird for the past couple of years. It's been not exciting. No one really wants to. Everyone watches for 2 or 3 plays. So I feel like this new format is really going to change things up. Really spice it up. You got to try something new.
All right, and Kevin. So the men's national soccer team lost. It's the first year in 30 years that the U.S. isn't going to be in the World
1986,
Cup.
I think. Yeah.
So just what are your thoughts about that?
It's a disgrace. You lost to Trinidad and Tobago, I think, population of 300,000, something like that, 30,000, one of those. Absolute disgrace. There's no shot that this team, the amount of money that they put into that organization, into U.S. soccer, that they should not be making it into the World Cup, making deeper runs than what they have. Moving forward, I just really hope that they take this and that they bounce back from this and that they change the way that they run U.S. soccer.
All right, and Selena, coming to you. What do you think about Ed Snyder getting his own statue?
I think it's a great tribute to him. Ed Snyder was such an important figure, not in just Flyers and Sixers history, but also in Philadelphia history. So I think it's a great way to honor him because it was a really tragic moment when he passed away last year.
And so remembering that, kind of sucks. But, it's a brighter future. Dave, the Sixers, do you think that they're going to make the playoffs?
My first goal is 40 games, but playoffs, I think we're right there, honestly. Everyone stays healthy. I think we're solid 8 seed for right now, but I think we're definitely playoff bound.
And Selena, I'm going to come at you with the same question so far with how preseason's going 1-3, but how do you think? Do you think we're going to make the playoffs?
One word, yes. They're going to make the playoffs, and Kyle, I'll add even more to that, championship within the next 5 years.
Whew, 1 year, one word, yes, making playoffs. So this has been Sports Talk Philadelphia. For Selena, Dave, Josh, and Kevin, thank you so much for coming on the desk this week. I love talking with you guys about Philadelphia sports. You can catch us on LaSalle TV Philly on YouTube, and you can also hit us up on Twitter, Sports Talk LTV. Please follow us on all of our social media. We love to have you guys. We're going to start posting more online. You'll be able to check us out. Thanks, and see you next week.